Good morning. I'm Nick May, and this is Coffee with Nick. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about our process when you book a project with us. What can you expect? How do things kind of go forward? So, a customer will call us, and they need to get an estimate, or they'll just go online and you can book an appointment online, which is super simple. And so, I come out, we talk about your project, come up with some solutions. A lot of times people will have me, bid out several different options. And so I'm happy to do that. And then I will send that estimate back out typically within 48 hours to the homeowner. Sometimes I have to do some research or talk to some different subcontractors that we may need. But if it's just a solid paint bid, it's super easy for me to get those bids back out to you, which is a big complaint a lot of homeowners have with painting companies and other contractors is they have somebody out and it may take a week to get an estimate. I remember I was going to do something in the backyard a couple years ago and had 3 or 4 different guys come out. And it was the same thing I hear about our competition is that one guy never provided a bid. One guy, it took like 2 weeks to get an estimate. And the other ones were pretty quick. I think one person gave it to me on the spot. It was all handwritten. And then the other one I got within the day. We didn't end up doing the project, but it was a good experiment for me to kind of see what homeowners typically go through when getting estimates on projects. So I'm going to come out, provide the estimate. We use a system for our estimates. And so folks will typically have different options. And so you have to accept or decline the different options. And then you electronically sign the estimate. Now, I do tell people when they sign their contract, it will say you're agreeing to this amount. We don't hold you to that. We just need a signature that we are moving forward with the project. And really the project isn't really a contract until you give us that deposit in all reality. So anyway, we're going to do a booking call after you've signed that contract. And I'm going to get on the phone with you and I'm going to go over your estimate line by line because I don't want anybody to have any surprises. I want to make sure, one, everything that you think you've signed up for is what we're actually doing. And B, if there's something that we're missing, that you understand that it's not on the contract and we can add it or just know that it's not part of what we're going to be doing. So we go over that in complete detail. If there's any discounts, that's when we calculate those discounts. And then we figure out what your total is. And then we're going to figure out what your deposit is. There's only a few things where we take a 50% deposit. That's going to be something like a countertop or something that's super supply heavy, like doing a lot of trim carpentry or something like that. But most of the time it's a 30% deposit. And so what we tell our customers is that our office is going to send you an email. It's a separate email with a separate system for the payments. We went to this system probably 2 years ago, and it's been a game changer for us. A, we don't have to sit on the phone and go over credit card stuff. B, I don't need to take your credit card or bank information. I don't store any of that stuff. So it's a third party. We've used this company for a long time. It's called bill.com. And it's super easy for us and super easy for you. So you're going to get that email. A lot of times we'll send that to you while we're on the phone, but not always. Then you're going to pay that deposit. And then as soon as our office gets a notification, and that's pretty much instant, then we're going to move on to the next appointments. So we're not going to book your color appointment or your project review meeting until we have received that payment or we've received notification that the payment has been made. And so then the office is going to call you and schedule you with Jackie, our interior designer, if you're getting a color consult, and they'll also book your appointment with your project manager for our project review. The project review meeting comes after the color consult because at the project review meeting, that is when we need your final decision on colors because we're going to put it in our paperwork and we want our paperwork to be complete. And so then we can move forward, order paint and get going. So then we will already have scheduled your project. We do that on the booking call, and then we move forward to the project. When I come out or your project manager comes out to do your project review, what that entails is we're going to go over all the kind of nuances of working with you in your house. So we're going to know, how are we going to get in? Are there codes we need to have? Are you going to be home? Where are the pets going to be stored or stored? Sorry. Where are they going to be safely kept so that they aren't getting into our paint? We're not worried about them running out the front door, all those kinds of things. What bathroom can we use? Just all the nuances so that my guys don't have to ask you. So it's just the day of when we start, we're just, the guys are, they know what they're doing. They're just going to get to work. We know where we're going to start. They know exactly what they're doing. So they're not going to pepper you with like 50 questions. And I know if you've worked with contractors in the past, you deal with a salesperson and then you deal with the crew that does the work. And then that crew comes and then they've got all sorts of questions, but the salesperson's nowhere to be found or a project manager's nowhere to be found. So this system allows our team to be super efficient and know and understand exactly what we're doing. So there's no miscommunication. Then we're going to do the project. And at the end of the project, so let me back up 2 steps. At the project review meeting, you're going to sign off on a lot of different things. So one of them is a very simple form. It's mostly color. And then it's kind of just, we need to make sure that we're all on the same page. So there's a lot of like initialing and signing off on who's responsible for what, kind of the fine print, but it's not that it's anything new. It's all in the contract, but it's things that over the years we have found that if you don't read the fine print on the contract, you don't know that you're responsible for those things. And so we just need to bring your attention to it. And so it shouldn't be any surprises, but a lot of times people are surprised by a few of the things, but it's nothing major. It's just so that we can stay, like, one of the things is we don't want to work in your house while there's another contractor. So there's a fee if we show up and carpet guys are in there, and let's say they're working in the basement and we're upstairs. If that happens, we have a fee. I don't remember what the exact fee is, but it's like $200, $250 per day that we are working in your house with somebody else. Why do we charge that? It's way less efficient for us to be working in a house while another contractor is there. I don't want to go into all the different details of why that is, but imagine you work from home and you're at your desk, and let's just say your child comes in and sits on your desk. Like, hey mom, what's going on? And just sits there. How efficient are you going to be? Are you going to get the same amount of work done versus they're not there? That's the best way I can describe it. There's going in and out of the house. Are they making a mess? Who's responsible for that? All that kind of stuff. So if we have control of the house, we want to be in control of the space so that we can do our job very efficiently and we don't have to come back, fix damage from another person or any of that kind of thing. So hopefully that makes sense. And the fee is there to really dissuade customers. Like, if we didn't have the fee, customers would be like, oh, you guys just need to work it out. And people wouldn't take us seriously on this. And so and here's what happened. This was the last straw for me. This is why I implemented that particular system. I was working at a house over the holidays. I was painting, and homeowners had carpet people come to change out carpet. It was insane. We're trying to get, like, I was literally painting the stairs down to the basement, and carpet guys are there like, hey, when can we do the stair? Like, wow. So that was the last straw for me. And so since we've implemented that, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. And the reason why it happens really comes down to customers wanting to get everything done at once. I understand getting big projects done, and you don't want anything to be stretched out any longer than it has to be. But the reality is we need the space to do our job and do our job right. You want a certain quality on your project, and we can do the best job for you if we have 100% access to the house and we are in control until we finish. Sign off, and that's the next thing. So at the end of the project, we're going to walk the project. We have some sign offs, things like there are no drips. We have cleaned up all of our stuff. The sink that we used to clean our equipment is clean. So you're going to sign off on it. And I want you to look around. I want you to take your time. That's what we want, because we don't want the call 2 days later. Nick, the guys cleaned, they did a great job, but our sink in the laundry room's a mess. I don't want that. So it holds our guys accountable. They know that this is the standard, and you're just going to check it off and say, yep, that happened, or that didn't happen, or all the stuff is removed. Everything is clean. All the touch-ups are done. Our house looks great. So we are 100% ready for payment when we have that sign off. And that's the final thing. Like, we have now done our job and we've completed your project. And so our requirement is that on day of completion, we get final payment. And a lot of times customers want to sit back and wait and do. That's just because, sometimes people don't understand that our time is just as valuable as theirs. And so that's why we want you to understand it's your responsibility to check over the project and pay us on the day of completion. You wouldn't go to a restaurant and be like, hey, let me see how this food sits with me over the next couple of days, and then I'll decide if and when I'm going to pay you. Doesn't happen, right? So we do require sign off on the project completion form and payment on day of completion. So that's the process. And then you're just going to reach out to us once a year, every other year, and have us come back out and do those final little touch-ups for as long as you live in the house. I hope that helps you understand our process and a little bit of the why that we have the process that we do. It's all because we want the best possible outcome for your project so that we can continue to work together in the future and keep you guys happy. I'm Nick. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.